What is going on, my friends? Vitaly Dubin is here and welcome to another episode of today's in Crypto Show. We have a lot to discuss as usual about Bitcoin, about crypto, about YouTube getting involved with NFTs, about Binance contributing $200 million into crypto education, and so many amazing news. Tune in and let's dive right into it. Let's start with the Bitcoin price action. Well, after we broke this 50-day moving average, we did have encounter a little bit of resistance right here, as it is supposed to be. That's exactly the normal price action. We have this area of $45,000 to $47,000 that needs to be broken, and it serves right now as a resistance. So first attempt, okay, we got rejected, but also we got supported by the 50-day moving average. So that's a very good sign. It will take its time. Bitcoin will take its time, but it's only a matter of days or weeks that we are getting above this level and getting back on track to the next all-time high. You can see this channel that we outlined. We are on the way to the upward of the channel, so things are looking pretty good. Now, looking at El Salvador, the big news of today is planning to issue its first Bitcoin bond next month. And the way that it's going to work is initially they plan to offer $1 billion worth of a bond, but the country's finance ministry expects it's going to be oversubscribed by an additional $500 million. So the people in the country and investors can essentially buy this Bitcoin bond, and the government is going to repay the bond at a certain period of time and return back the Bitcoin. And the minimum purchase of $100, that's it. Everybody can participate. It doesn't require going through the stockbrokers. So that's pretty interesting. Now, the crypto exchange Binance, the largest exchange in the world today, taking $200 million. They're buying some Forbes positions, and they're buying essentially a way to educate the masses about crypto. So that can only be a very good thing. As the CEO of Binance said, an essential element to build widespread consumer understanding and education of the crypto market and emerging blockchain technologies. Now, looking at Bitcoin liquidations, we still see liquidations today, even though the price are not really changed a lot in the last couple days, but we see $40-50 million liquidations. From where it's coming from? People who are playing with leverage on 50x, 25x, or even 100x. Do not do that. Why would you want to risk your capital in such a way? So don't do that. It's not worthy. Now, in Canada, there is AntiVaccination Trackers that now raised $700,000 in Bitcoin and even got Elon Musk support, because $10 million in donation were stopped by the government in the GoFunding, and Bitcoiners and also people that are protesting the vaccines and the health measures in Canada, they essentially said, hey, we have Bitcoin. We're going to support the truckers. So there you go. Bitcoin serves an uncensored, you cannot censor Bitcoin, you cannot censor donations. The crypto cannot be censored. So I want to show you a little clip from the recent Michael Saylor interview, showing you a glimpse of how many hedge funds are coming into the Bitcoin and crypto space. Check it out.
Which was interesting in the past month was we saw a crisis of confidence in the equity market, right? That brought, it used to be Bitcoin was a very volatile asset that may or may not be an inflation hedge. And now equity looks like a very volatile asset that may or may not be an inflation hedge. And so you've got the mainstream apparatus, mainstream media, mainstream investors acknowledging crypto and Bitcoin as an asset class versus property versus bonds versus equity, no safe haven, and a mutually agreed problem. And I guess one last point I make is I hear rumors from all my contacts that there's an avalanche of macro hedge funds coming into the space, setting up accounts, like an increase by almost an order of magnitude. It used to be there was one or two macro traders, and now I think a lot of hedge funds are setting up accounts, and their view is we have to trade this stuff. Whether or not they'll stand up and say, I want to hold $1 billion or $10 billion of it for a decade, well, we're still waiting for that. But it seems like at the end of the year, at the end of 2021, I heard all sorts of stories that, conventional macro funds yielded 3 or 4% ROI in the year, and crypto hedge funds had 500% returns in the year, and 200% returns, and some at 1,000% returns and 100% returns. Someone made 10 or 100x as much trading that volatility. Whether or not I'm ready to marry this asset, I'm sure that I want to trade and I want to be engaged. I can't afford to ignore this.
You can't afford to ignore this. So there you go, guys. Macro hedge funds are piling up to start trading with crypto. How can I ignore this asset class when they can get, instead of like a couple of percentages a year, they can get 500%, 100%, and sometimes 1,000% a year on crypto. And by the way, I'm setting up a DeFi rewards membership site where I'm going to educate people about different opportunities that exist in the DeFi space to help you get just that. Those type of rewards, a couple hundred percentages a year or more in rewards with the DeFi space. Now, check this out. You can, for $5,000, own one of Snoop Dogg's songs on the blockchain as he's selling his recent albums. Snoop's NFT LP version offers 3 exclusive bonus tracks, and he's been selling his new album via the blockchain. Very, very cool. Eternity now raising $20 million to build celebrity NFT platforms. So you can see this whole thing about NFT and celebrities is just taking up acceleration this year. But not everybody agree that NFTs are not in a speculative bubble zone. We have the internet guru Tim O'Reilly, who coined the World Web 2.0, saying that NFTs and crypto are in a pretty serious speculative bubble. That's what he's saying. The metaverse itself is full of bubble hype. The Meta Quest VR headsets, they're selling a bunch of them, but technology is a long way over prime. It's not in the prime yet. We will not know what Web3 is until after the current bubble pops, because we're in the middle of a bubble, just like the dot-com bubble, where there's all kinds of crazy startups getting outrageous valuation with less to show for it. What do you guys think about that? There are definitely a lot of these startups in the NFT space that are setting up with no real value behind them, and they're getting some valuations out of nothing. Now look at this. India's central bank governance saying crypto is a big threat to the financial stability, and adding that keep in mind crypto has no underlying value, not even a tulip. Interesting. What really makes the fiat currency, the Indian rupee, that has such value? It's the value that we give it, right? It's because people agree to trade on this shit coin that is called the Indian rupee. So according to new legislations, investors filing their tax returns in India will not be able to show losses, only the gains. Interesting, right? And they're planning to have their own central bank digital currency, the Indian rupee, the digital rupee, essentially. So China is doing it, United States is doing it, India is doing it. The whole world soon is going to be the entire digital space. Now, I already covered this interesting story about the Bitfinex 2016 hack, and they arrested $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. The court is going to come soon, but here's the thing that you don't realize, that those money Bitcoin launderers that conspired with the hacker of 94,000 Bitcoin is actually pretty active on social media. The girl, this is her, Heather Morgan. She has a rap album, and by the way, those cover NFTs vanished from OpenSea. People who bought them, they just disappeared. And she essentially has an Instagram, she has a TikTok, she has her songs, and both of them has an active New York social life. And she even inspired rapper, and a Forbes contributed. She contributed some, essentially for Forbes different publications. Check it out. This is her Twitter.
I'm gonna tell you my secret for making dreams a reality. I started my company when I was 23 and grew it into a multi-million-dollar business with zero outside funding. I had no connections. I didn't go to an...
There you go. That's does it look like for you as a hacker? I highly doubt it. I highly doubted that she would be smart enough to hack, but she and her husband definitely got conspired into the money laundry part, and they allegedly in the last 5 years has been able to successfully launder 25,000 Bitcoins that found their way into their bank account. And finally, I want to show you that YouTube is eyeing the incredible potential of NFTs and Web 3.0 for future products. Yes, it is that time. They are going to update YouTube creators. They add channel guidelines, sorted comments for live streams, super chat tips for YouTube Shorts, which is YouTube's version of TikToks, and possibly YouTube could integrate NFTs in such a way that the holders of a given NFT collection could gain exclusive access to creators' content or special badges during live stream, selling videos or segments of videos as NFTs could also provide additional monetization mechanisms for creators. Very, very interesting. What do you think about that? And give you a little update on the animal farm. Right now, there's in the works a new updated white paper and a new Pigs BUSD garden game. We still have a pretty big amount of TVL, $294 million worth of TVL. This is really just in the beginning phase, and you can check out the current APRs of the farms. You can actually see it right here, 535%, 750%, 674% APR a year. So you can learn more about that inside the members area. So that's what I want to share with you guys in today's video. I hope you have a fantastic Friday, and I'll see you guys as always in the next episode of today's in Crypto Show.